Good morning, Rise and Freedom. It's Friday, baby. I know you're happy for that. So am I. Welcome to the Wake Up America show. I'm your host, Austin Peterson. We're glad and thankful to have you here. Freedom Family Friday means what? Means that the smoking hot redheaded libertarian wifey's in the studio. What's up, Steffi? How we doing?
Here. It has been quite a busy week. My goodness.
No, and it's going to be a busy weekend, too. We got a lot to do, don't we?
We do. We're going to the family farm on Sunday.
Yes, we are. We're going to have a lot of fun.
With Peterson's party.
Yeah, we're going to have a lot of fun there. Tomorrow, we got a lot of baby stuff to go through. Thank you for all the gifts, by the way, guys.
Yes, thank you notes are incoming. I promise you. I'm going through all of the gifts today and tomorrow.
Exactly.
And I'm going to thank every single one of you who has helped us.
You guys were very generous, and we're very grateful for all of that. Courtney Conover over in the chat says, cutting into my work hours today, but I need breaks to drive, she says. Watching you in Austin is today's self-care. Aww.
Yeah, yesterday, you did something awesome. You changed my brake light.
I know. Actually, I think that might be the very first time I've ever done, like, a car repair of that kind of level, and I was really proud of myself. I was feeling kind of badass.
Proud of you too. I know.
Yes, there's something sexy.
I didn't have to spend money at the repair shop, so I was extra happy about that.
I was working on your Subaru shirtless.
Oh.
Ow.
See, that is the way to a woman's heart. Fix her car.
Welcome to the Wake Up America show. We've got a lot of news to talk about today. First off, Donald Trump and Joe Biden debate. What's Donald Trump's strength? What's his weakness? We'll go over that at the top of the show. After that, at 7:30 this morning, kid influencers. I guess one of our biggest concerns ought to be, me and Steffi, if our child Hazel, who's about to be born here in just a few weeks, wants to follow in our footsteps and be on camera and do this kind of thing for a living, you know?
This is a big one. I mean, even my family was asking us, are you going to take pictures of Hazel and post them online when she's born?
Yeah.
This is a huge topic.
It's a big question.
Discussion.
I mean, we literally got a phone call from a state representative who is a friend of ours to like warn us about taking pictures of our kids. And the reason why she said that she was scared because as a politician, people who don't like her, like they know what her kids look like. And I think she said that someone actually showed up to her kid's school.
Oh my goodness.
And it was just kind of this weird scenario. But you know what? I mean, we can't hide the fact that we're public figures and we live in public. So, I mean, it's not like people, if somebody really wants to find us, they can. They can also find the end of my 12-gauge shotgun.
Right. So, I guess we can just be like Michael Jackson and put a blanket over his head.
That's why, like, when you're anti-gun, like, family is like, you know, like freaking out about all the guns that I have in my house, it's kind of like, well, you don't live in a life in public like I do, right? Like, I may not be, Leonardo DiCaprio famous, but I'm just famous enough to piss certain people off. And who knows, we've had weird stuff happen before, right? We've had people stalkers and all kinds of creeps. So the fact that we're going to have a child soon, and there are so many kiddie influencers out there who want to like do what we do. If our child,
she's going to want to follow in our footsteps.
She's going to see what we're doing and she's going to want to participate. And I'm not going to want to dissuade her from that because if it's something that she really enjoys. But the problem is that I'm reading these articles on the Wall Street Journal, for example, and it's like the audiences for these kids influencers is like 92% adult men.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
So creepy stuff. We're going to keep an eye on that story. We'll talk about it this morning at 7:30 a.m. Central Time. You don't want to miss that conversation with me and Steffi. We're the perfect people to talk about that. I've got a billion other stories as well. You were kind of confused by the concept of what we call white boy summer.
I have never heard of this before.
White boy summer, yes.
I'm just not in tune to relevant things.
Right. So white boy summer is, everybody's talking about it now, especially on the left, because apparently they had a flag that they flew at the Turning Point USA conference this last week.
It said white boy summer and it was pink.
It said white boy summer and they were all celebrating white boy summer, and Joy Reid over at MSNBC was triggered by it. She's the black lady who has the Donald Trump wig that she wears.
Oh, I didn't know she wears the wig. I just saw her with her shaved head.
Oh, she shaved her head now? Okay. Yeah. For a while she hates Donald Trump, but she would wear like his wig. So it was it's very funny stuff.
And this white boy summer thing was done in Detroit at a church.
Yes.
Wasn't it?
And they said it was a black church, but it was mostly white people in the audience.
Right.
But my guess is that it is a black church normally, but the fact that Trump showed up that day meant that for the first time ever, a lot of white people found themselves at the black church that day. So David Lee already knows what it is. He says Hanks, Hankz. Tom Hanks' son is the one who came up with it.
Yes.
Tom
I
Hanks'
had
son.
no idea. His son looks nothing like him.
Yeah. Happy white people. He says Quest Fanning. Exactly. Yes. We're going to talk about white boy summer, what it means. I'll explain this white supremacy concept to my Jewish wife, the Nazi who loved the Jew, you know?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes I'm glad I just keep my eyes shut and my ears closed. I don't know if I want to hear this stuff. It might make me too nervous.
It's okay. Well, we'll talk about it a little bit. And then, of course, what happens at 8 o'clock this morning?
Justin Peters.
Justin Peterson.
Your favorite.
It's Freedom Family Friday, which means JP in the hizzy. Speaking of white boy summer, my brother his house. Justin doesn't count as white though because he's gay, so he gets the pass.
Oh, so being gay is a race,
basically,
just like being a Jew is a race.
I'm
there
not
we
sure.
go.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's like the question there is like in terms of the victimhood Olympics, I feel like race sometimes outpaces gay, right? Depending on what race it is. Right. So if you're black, that might be more oppressed than, say, gay, but you could always be a black transgender. And then that's going to be like more than just black. Right. You get an extra point for being a black trans.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And being gay, you can be on the down low if you know how to act and talk. Nobody will know. A lot of people in the black community are actually on the down low.
Yes. Courtney Conover, she's getting the Rumble Rant donation started, says, I'm always happy to see Steffi and Justin. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Courtney's
and
so sweet.
AP. I'm always happy to see you.
Courtney's so sweet to us, even though she's so triggered by a lot of the red pill chat stuff that we've been having lately.
You know, I find connection with Courtney. I think she and I were on the same wavelength.
Well, she's got big brain, you know, she's got big IQ, so she's definitely in the right place.
Yeah, she's very logical.
Yes. People are like, oh, your audience isn't that big, Austin. It's like, yeah, but the collective IQ around here is like 10, 20, 30 points higher than the average live stream, especially in the mornings. But
she has life experience. I don't know how old she is, but I feel like she's been there, done that. She's seen things.
Libertarians and Greens, right? She's kind of been on like she was at least from her profile, you can see it on X. She's like a former leftist, right? And she's now kind of like what you might call a radical centrist. At least that's what I would kind of consider her, to my knowledge. Maybe she wouldn't self-identify as such. But anyways, why are we talking about Rumble chatters right now? Sorry, Courtney. Thank you for the. They are. They make the world go round. There's no Wake Up America show without the Courtney Conovers of the world, the Liberty Shindigs, and even the Guokas, who is very mad at us this morning. He's very upset.
Could be very misinterpreted, Guoka. So sorry about
he's
really knowing what your
he's
comments
upset
meant.
about the conversation that we had yesterday about the state of Louisiana putting the Jewish commandments in the government schools. Did you see about this?
I heard about it. It wasn't able to actually watch the segment though. Where you talked about it.
So Christians so love the world that they put their only Jewish commandments up on the walls of the government schools. The 10 Commandments.
It's not okay. Separation of church and state.
It's obviously not okay. And they're going to waste all this money, this taxpayer money, getting sued and taking it down. And then, you know, the atheist communists are going to be the ones who are going to be like, like suing them and taking them down. They're all annoying. I mean, a plague on both their houses, honestly. But you know, it's just such a waste of time and a distraction. And it's another good reason to abolish government schools. Am I right? Yes.
Right. Yeah. You can go to a Catholic school if you want to see the commandments.
Right.
You can go to a Jewish school.
Right. But like, you know, the Christians have like the same kind of persecution complex that they inherited from the Jews. So it's kind of like, you may be the majority in this country, but it's always like, we're under attack. So it's like, they have this insecurity that they have to like put the 10 commandments on the wall in the government schools. And they'll say on one hand, well, wokeism is a religion. And okay, well then don't complain when they put the gay pride flag on the wall, because if woke is their religion, then the LGBTQIA, LGHT community is just expressing their religious faith in government schools. It's like, you know.
I've seen people comparing that. You know, how is the flag offensive? The gay pride flag, but yet the 10 commandments are not offensive.
It's just them expressing their religious liberty, right? They're just putting their religion on the wall there, right? And it's like, we're founded as a Christian nation. It's like, you know, we had this conversation with Judge Napolitano on Wednesday. And it's like, well, maybe, but not Catholic nation, right? So remember, the founders didn't want any Catholics in charge of anything. So you'll find that like the imperialist Catholics these days are the first ones to be like, America was founded as a Christian nation. It's like, yeah, but not yours. You were excluded. So
Thomas Jefferson was a deist.
Deist, yes, very much so, yes. And the founders were mostly Protestants, right? So they weren't big.
They didn't Catholicism.
They didn't like Catholics.
Uh-huh.
It took until the 1960s for us to have our first Catholic president. Everybody was kind of like, "Oh no, the Pope's going to rule the whole country." And you know what? They were kind of right. Now we got this commie Pope, and we wish we would kind of get the hell out. You know what I'm saying?
Oh boy, just get religion out of school. Just get it out.
Just put the American flag on the wall and then worship the American flag, and that's it.
America is my religion.
Yes, we should go back to what we did back in before World War I. Remember Woodrow Wilson and how we used to do the American flag? The children would salute the American flag. Do you remember what it was? How we would do it? We should have to.
I pledge allegiance to the flag.
Well, you'd have to pledge allegiance, but I think we should go back to that. That the kids should be mandatory. Say the Pledge of Allegiance, but do the Bellamy salute, which was the original salute to the flag.
I mean, I used to say the Pledge of Allegiance in school.
So were you,
that was always done.
Do you know what the Bellamy salute is?
No.
It's the Roman salute.
No.
No, you should do the.
I just put my hand over my heart.
Well, no, that's not what the original salute was. So we should have the national religion, doing the national salute to the national flag.
What is it? How do you do it?
Well, the Roman flag starts with your hand over your heart like this.
I pledge allegiance
right, but here, I'll
flag.
show you how to do it.
Yeah.
So take your right hand and push it all the way out. You go, no, like out in front of you.
Oh, no, I can't do that. That's inappropriate, you know.
Oh, honey, that's how they did it.
They didn't.
Yes, they did.
So they literally did the Heil Hitler?
They literally did the Heil Hitler.
Before Hitler made it.
Before Hitler made it quite...
He stole everything.
Yeah, like the swastika and
that was really a Hindu symbol.
Yeah. And it's still, when we went to Japan, we saw it all over the place.
Buddhist symbol. Whichever one.
History is so triggering to people. They don't, like, most people don't know their history, so that's why they're so triggered by it.
I know.
Yeah. But so the American school children, it used to be mandatory that you do the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. And when the kids did, there's pictures of it. I could pull it up right now. There's pictures of American school children doing the Sieg Heil to the American flag.
Before it was bad, I'm sure it felt fine.
Exactly. This is not a form of brainwashing. This is not a form of brainwashing. This is not a form of brainwashing. Have you ever seen that skit from The Whitest Kids You Know? You know what I'm talking? You've never seen that skit?
I don't know these things.
Oh my God. Okay. This is going to get us demonetized.
I'm not white.
Kids You Know, pledge of... yeah, that's right. You're not white. You're a Jew.
God, this isn't something bad. Putting your hand on your heart.
Well,
this isn't an offensive.
We're getting way off topic here this morning, but who cares? It's Freedom Family Fund here.
This is really the greatest country in the whole world. All the other countries suck. And if this country ever goes to war, as it often wants to do, I promise to help go and kill all the other countries' kids. God bless Johnson & Johnson. God bless GE. God bless Citigroup. Amen.
Very good, kids.
Johnson & Johnson sponsored this?
God bless Johnson & Johnson. God bless Citigroup. God bless IG Farben. So.
Oh, my goodness. Imagine helping a child memorize that.
I'm sure they had it up on the front of the class for the kids to read.
Was that supposed to advertise?
It's a joke, Stephanie. It's a joke.
Oh, okay. I couldn't see the video, so I was just like, "Are these children
lean
really
over
serious?"
on the because here's what I'm showing to the people on the screen right now. Here's the little American school children, and this is the Bellamy salute. You see him doing the salute there, Stephanie, doing the little little Sieg Heil.
Yeah.
So that was the salute that they did before Before Uncle Hitler made it unpopular.
Give them. I mean, they didn't know any better. There was no harm done there.
This is not a form of brainwashing.
Flag, reach out, touch the flag.
This is not a form of brainwashing. And I promise that if this country goes to war, as it is often wont to do, that I will go and kill all the other little kids in the other countries.
Genocide in Gaza, my goodness. They're probably the Free Palestine people now.
This is not a form of brainwashing. This is not a form of brainwashing. Anyways, all right. You ready to talk about the news, Stephanie? We've spent 20 minutes almost talking about anything but the news. Ready?
Oh, yes.
Okay, so Biden holds a razor-thin lead over Trump in a head-to-head and five-way race. Razor-thin margin in the 2024 White House race. The incumbent leading the ex-commander-in-chief 50% to 48% in a head-to-head rematch of the 2020 election. Biden maintains his edge over Trump in a hypothetical five-way race as well, leading in by a 1-point margin, 43% to 42%. So that's a 3-point shift in support for Biden from last month's head-to-head poll when Trump was ahead by 1 point. This race is too close to call.
Yeah.
With third-party candidates,
too close margins.
Yeah, but when they include third-party candidates, then the president benefited from a 4-point swing from May when Trump had topped him by 3 points. So it may be the case that the third-party candidates are actually taking away more from Donald Trump than they are from Joe Biden. At least it's something to consider. So,
yeah, because the independents aren't liking Trump as much. It's said in the statistics there. We asked my sister. My sister is a Democrat from California, and she said she doesn't like Joe Biden or Donald Trump or RFK Jr.
Yeah.
She just wants a good option, and she's not finding one.
I think that the Democrats are really just concerned about the fact that it's so close, and they feel like they feel as if Biden is a weak candidate to go up right now because of, his infirmities and all that kind of stuff. But, I honestly am curious about the whole RFK Jr. factor because it may be the case that Robert F. Kennedy Jr. could potentially be taking more votes from Donald Trump.
Yeah, probably. And he's taking libertarian votes too. A lot of libertarians like him.
Yep. RFK Jr. Failed to make the debate. He won't be on the stage. This is what he had to say about it.
Yes.
It appears that both President Trump and President Biden are afraid to debate me, and their campaigns are colluding with CNN to keep me off the debating stage. Hi, I'm Robert F. Kennedy Jr., and I'm running as an independent candidate for President of the United States. The two other candidates don't agree on much, but they do agree about excluding me from that stage. That's why the Washington Post reported on May 17th that, quote, Biden's advisors quickly let it be known that they had not agreed to any terms that could include Kennedy. The Post also reported that, quote, one of the CNN producers on a Wednesday call with Trump aides had explained at the time that, quote, RFK Jr. will not be on the stage, end quote. While I'm flattered to know that President Biden and President Trump are frightened by the prospect of debating me, shutting me out of that debate makes a mockery of democracy. It's not just about trying to silence me as a candidate. It's also an attempt to stifle the ideas that I represent that both of these candidates would rather not talk about.
Probably true right there. Yeah.
Listen here, RFK. You are too much of a conspiracy theorist. He's all like, this is illegal. I'm going to fight this till the end. You know why you can't debate? You didn't qualify in the polling and for the delegates.
Well,
he doesn't even have enough to make that 270 electoral votes.
Right. Well, they say, here's the thing, there is a conspiracy to some extent because they would never let him on the debate stage anyway. But people don't like this, but that's free speech, right? CNN isn't required to platform anybody. Right.
The government, although they might be paid for by the government in some ways.
Listen, because of the way the government funds everything to some extent, there's in some sense or some way you could find some government connection. But let's say NPR. If NPR were to host debates,
that's a government.
That would be different because NPR is publicly funded. In that point in time, then you might say, okay, well, they should be required to include candidates from parties that are going to be on a significant number of ballots. And if they meet those qualifications, fine. But they prefer to, that's why in some sense they prefer to use CNN or ABC or anything like that, because private companies can set their own criteria. And then even if you meet the criteria, they can still say, nah, we're just not going to include you. And it's their free speech. They are not required by law to platform anybody. They don't have to.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when Ron Paul and Gary Johnson were allowed on the debate stage. I don't know what network they were on all those years ago. That was in 2012, I believe. So it's like, what were those qualifications back then? I mean, RFK, he's not going to win, but I know he is powerful in terms of taking away a vote. So sure, they're probably scared of that.
Yes.
He's just butthurt.
Of course he is.
Yeah.
And I mean, he's got millions of dollars flowing in and out of his campaign and stuff. He's got all of these donors that have stepped in and are giving him money to do this stuff. They're all upset, right? So it's
just wonder who he would rather win. Who does he want to take votes away from?
Ron over on YouTube says that the rules are slanted to make sure third-party candidates don't get in the debates and don't get any real traction. Yes, absolutely true.
I mean, what about the LP, right?
Yeah.
Chase Oliver.
Yeah, they're not going to make the debates either. I mean, I don't think...
They're not complaining, I don't think.
I would be curious to see, have there been any national polls that have included the Libertarian Party at all? I mean...
I feel like Chase Oliver is in hiding. What is he, in a cave?
I know.
Like, he's just not coming out and talking to anybody.
He's going to all the gay pride rallies.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
that's where his votes are going to come from.
I'm not saying that as a joke. I'm just saying that, like, it's just that is what he's going to. It's Pride Month.
Right.
So Guilcos just gave us a very generous tip, even though he's mad at us. He gave us $50, said that the difference between me and most here is when Revolutionary War starts, I'll be on the front line shooting, and most of you all home wondering why you can't get on the internet. Take care, y'all. Guilcos, thanks, Guilcos. Even if...
Be mad at me. I wasn't on the show yesterday having this discussion, so I didn't do anything.
So we raised, that means $52 towards the $60 goal to unlock today's bonus content.
He had donated earlier.
Yeah, so $52 towards the $60 goal. So a reminder, we haven't talked about it. Remind everybody, in case there's anybody new, about what the bonus content is, Steph.
So we have a doc every single day. What is the theme this week? I'm sorry, I've been so busy making cheese.
Paradoxes. Yes.
I made cheese for my hustling and homemaking video. So it's about paradoxes. And so in order to unlock the doc, it's not free. You have to do something to get something. You can do a Rumble rant. You can go to wakeupamericashow.com/support, or you can buy merchandise from apforlibertyshop.com. So as long as we add all those things up to $60, we unlock the doc.
And I'm gonna be real with you. Like sometimes I'm shuffling, like I'm hustling so much in homemaking that like the documentary just now got done. So like it just got completed in the back end.
Talking.
Yeah. So like it was.
Wow.
I was so rushed this morning. So.
It should be a meme, where the couple is in bed and the girl's like, I wonder what he's thinking about. He's like finishing the doc.
Yes.
That would be funny.
Exactly. So Courtney Conover says in the Revolution, she'll be making strategic battle plans and handing them out to commanders. There you go, Courtney.
I mean, I'm not going to lie. I don't think I'd be on the front line. I'd be hiding somewhere. Very far away.
No.
Too much of a wussy.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'd probably be running the shows at the USO.
Running the shows at the USO.
Yeah, the entertainment for all the troops,
bands,
the bands and the celebrities and all that kind of stuff. I'd be producing the USO shows.
Keep the morale up.
Absolutely.
Someone has to do it.
Somebody's got to book Bob Hope and get him out there, Marilyn Monroe or Lauren Bacall, and dance for the troops. And
it'd be kind of cool if you did a show for the military.
Yeah,
if they like flew you out to some military base somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. Who better than AP for Liberty?
Right.
All right. So Nelson65 says to get Justin to make his new show, $10.
Yeah, Nelson, I haven't seen you in a while.
I know, Nelson. What's been going on, man? Nice to see you. Thank you for the donation. So we just unlocked the bonus content, which means that when Justin comes on here in about a half an hour, that instead of watching commercials, they get to watch the bonus documentary. Yay!
We'll remind him about his new show, and we'll say someone actually donated money for that.
Exactly. So yeah, we should start the Justin Start Your Show Fund. There you go.
Aww.
All right. So we're talking about the debates happening next week. So I can give a little bit of a sneak preview of my column that I wrote for Human Events. Will be coming out next week. about the debate. And basically the concept of it is the strengths and weaknesses of Trump versus Joe Biden. And my theme of my column this week is martial arts. And I talk about like the debate styles and compare them to a style of martial arts.
That's cool.
Yeah. So Donald Trump is jujitsu.
Okay.
And Joe Biden is Aikido.
Oh, gosh. I already know where this is going.
What do you mean?
Aikido is
Tell me where it's going.
Definitely not as good as jujitsu.
Well, true, but they both have strengths and weaknesses. Do you know what the weakness is of jujitsu?
Oh, they can't do stuff above ground.
Right.
I mean, they're all about the on the ground. So you got to get the person on the ground first.
Right.
They don't really do their punches like we do.
Exactly.
Punches and blocks above ground while they're standing.
See, my wife knows her martial arts.
Yeah.
Stephanie, what about Aikido? Like, what is that Aikido like? Now, we poop all over Aikido, obviously.
They're the ones that wear the skirt-looking pants.
Yes, they are. Yes.
They do all these flips.
Exactly. But exactly. So if Joe Biden is Aikido and Donald Trump is jujitsu, what are they both trying to accomplish with their martial arts styles that are compared to their debate styles?
I mean, Aikido, I don't know if you can really protect yourself with Aikido. Aikido is more of it looks like a dance because you're like, and then isn't that one of the sword ones too, where they use the swords?
I don't know if Aikido uses any weapons or not. I think it's a kendo, but like Aikido is very much this whole like
it's more Tai Chi looking.
Yeah, Tai Chi looking, right? It's all about like
it's beautiful. It's more of a show.
It's about using your opponent's momentum against them.
Okay.
So when somebody comes to grab you, you kind of like, like shuffle them to the side, use their strength against them.
Biden can't even lift his leg into an SUV. I'm not sure he can really do.
Well, but here's the thing.
That.
So this is kind of the thrust of my column. His like sort of his descent into what do we call it? Just not paranoia, but
Biden?
Biden, yeah.
Dementia? I mean, he physically is declining and he's mentally declining.
So I mean, so he's not there, right?
No, so I'm not sure if he would even see a punch coming at him at this point.
So he kind of doesn't have to, right? So if Trump is throwing punches, trying to drag him into the mud, then Joe Biden, just by being not all there, is just kind of like,
I can see that.
Right, the attack just kind of flies by him because Hillary Clinton in 2016, when they debated, like she tried to meet hard power on hard power. Right. So when Trump came at her, she tried to fight back because she's like, I'm a woman. I have to be strong so I can stand up, I can stand up to him.
She was trying to do jujitsu and so was he.
And she was trying to do jujitsu and so was he. And so he dragged her down into the mud and rolled around in the mud with her and beat her by experience.
Yeah, because as our sensei says, women cannot defend themselves. Better than men.
Right. Yes, exactly. Yeah.
They really can't.
Yeah. I mean, unless in the rare case that like a woman perhaps might be more skilled at jujitsu, she could beat a man, but if he's not as trained in jujitsu, right. But equal skill on equal skill, the man's probably going to win.
Sure. So I'm just picturing, that video that came out where Biden they were at some sort of military thing with, what was it? The leader of France.
The G7 people. Yeah.
Yes. And he was looking back at somebody else and talking to them.
No, it was a cheap fake.
So that just kidding. There, if Trump was like trying to punch him, Biden would just be like, la, la, la,
exactly.
Dancing through the meadow.
Exactly.
And then he'd randomly like accidentally block the punch without realizing it and have no idea anyone's trying to hurt him.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that obliviousness.
So I've got the clip pulled up right here now so they can see what we're talking about here. So Joe Biden, this is the one that the White House is calling a cheap fake. Not a deep fake, but a cheap fake. They're saying it's edited.
Oh, is it?
It's not edited. So here's Joe Biden, and he's wandering. He starts smiling at nothing,
right?
And then he wanders off. And the Prime Minister of Italy, Giorgia Meloni, kind of a hottie, has to go and find him. He goes and he's talking to nobody who's there. He's just kind of like looking at no one. She's like, "Hey, Mr. President, back this way." She has to bring him back on task to take a picture. It's like. So this is Joe Biden's Aikido, because when they get into the debate, Stephanie, Trump can throw blow after blow. All Joe Biden has to do, and we saw him remember the State of the Union?
He was very sharp at the State of the Union.
So if Joe Biden is as sharp in the debate as he was at the State of the Union, he can win the debate just by being cognizant. And if he can be a striker, Trump's a grappler. If he can throw out a few zingers, like Biden threw out a few zingers at the State of the Union. If he can throw out a few zingers and have them land on Trump, that's victory for Joe Biden. But Trump, here's my thing, and this is the concept of the column. My thing is just that I don't know what kind of strategy Donald Trump needs in order to counter what Joe Biden has, because his dementia is Trump's kryptonite. Trump wants somebody to meet hard power on hard power. He wants Joe Biden to tangle with him, to get into the mud and to go onto a back and forth so that he can grapple with him, drag him down into the mud, and then roll him and then choke him out. But that's not how Joe Biden debates. Right. So Trump's style was much more effective against Hillary Clinton than it was against Joe Biden from 2020. And so that's the thing. Trump has jujitsu. Joe Biden has Aikido. But in this debate, which is on CNN, unfriendly moderators without a debate audience to laugh at Trump's jokes. Right. Like the funniest joke in the world can fall flat if you don't have this.
Oh, for sure. It's all about the sound effects.
Yes, because you can have a joke that's actually not that funny, and you can have a joke that's not that funny, and if you have people laughing hard, it'll seem funnier than it actually is.
It's just like when I was at the Jay Leno show years and years ago. They have the laugh, applause signs that they hold up, and they tell you when to do those things, even if you really don't feel compelled to laugh in the moment.
But did you
fake.
Right? As a matter of fact, I saw this really funny video once where they edited all of the laugh tracks out of the show Friends.
Yes,
and they showed how not funny the show was, because if you didn't have a laugh track, you wouldn't even know that was supposed to be humor.
Exactly.
So, which is what people accuse when they watch the Wake Up America show.
I think things are actually funny. I think this is very accurate. Yes. We have a laugh-o-meter going on here. This is very scientific.
We do, yes. We know for a fact that we're being very funny. So, anyways, Joe Biden, Donald Trump debate next week. Donald Trump gets the last word, I guess, when there was some coin toss.
Yeah, so that was very interesting. So Joe Biden he got to decide which position his podium was at. So he decided on the right side. And I'm just curious, what is the benefit of being on the right side rather than left? Is it that we think right is right? Is it some sort of brain connection where we're like, oh, he's on the right side, so he's right?
You know what? That's a great question. Honestly, I don't have any idea.
It's like, who cares what side you're on? But yes, then Trump said he wants the final word. He got to choose that one.
Yep.
So, which I think is good. You like to have the final word. And then you can...
Yes.
Because Joe Biden could totally screw up his final word, and then Trump could go in for the kill.
Right.
At the very end.
Exactly. Yeah. It's better to have the final word for sure. You want that. You want that in a debate.
Now, neither of them can have props or notes, which is very interesting.
No props and no notes.
No props or notes.
Yeah.
But they can have a notepad and a pen in water.
I think that these debate terms definitely favor Biden. If Donald Trump had his way, he would have a big audience.
Oh, sure.
And he would be able to play off of the audience and be able to get the feedback from the audience. I think and the fact that it's on CNN, I mean, it would be better if it was on Fox News or if there was on, some other friendly network. But, and honestly, now at this point, I'm starting to wonder if the whole RFK Jr. thing isn't hurting Trump more than it's hurting Joe Biden. Because honestly, I feel like RFK's positions, a lot of them actually overlap more with Donald Trump than they do with Joe Biden to an extent, Yeah,
a lot of the people that are kind of dabbling in the Trump camp, they are siding with RFK. So yeah, I think if RFK wasn't there, people would be more willing to go to Trump.
For sure. I just got a notification from my Father's Day gift that you got for me.
Okay.
It says that I've just earned my Italy badge.
Oh.
My Italy badge. You know what the Italy badge is?
You walked somewhere?
Yes. I have walked the entire length of Italy.
What?
You stepped your way to another colossal achievement. Thank you,
Oh my
Fitbit.
goodness. In the past week, you've walked the entire...
No, just in total. In total, yes. Walked the entire length of Italy. So.
Oh, that's awesome.
Thank you for my Father's Day gift, Stephanie. I appreciate it.
Yes, we are a Fitbit family.
Yes, I've already lost 5 pounds.
And we're also becoming a Croc family. You were the first one to get Crocs.
Oh,
I just purchased my very first pair of Crocs just the other day. They're coming in the mail tomorrow.
You've given up.
Yes, and then baby Hazel will have some Crocs, and the dogs are getting Crocs.
Baby Crocs. Actually, our buddy Liberty Shindig sent us a really cool gift that we just got yesterday.
Oh, he did.
He sent us
lots of Disney coolness.
Yeah, Minnie Mouse flip-flops.
And then Toy Story toys.
Toy Story toys as well. So thanks for the cool stuff. It's nice to see that we've got so much love out there. Ken Milligan.
Yes, thank you. Note is coming, I promise.
Yeah, and Ken has been doing some little part-time. He's been moonlighting for us lately. So some of the administrative work that we do here by like cutting clips and things like that, Ken Milligan has stepped up. Liberty Shindig, I think he's in the chat this morning. So let's give Liberty Shindig a big round of applause. He's been helping us
doing this on his own. Even before you all set up any type of work together. I mean, he was promoting us and sharing products.
He was making a lot of awesome ads for the show. He's the one who has the daughter Layla who does karate. So give it up for Ken and his daughter Layla. Thank you, Liberty Shindig.
They're very, very kind.
Yeah. So now we have a couple of people who are helping us out on our team and growing. We get to see our friend this weekend at Dad's party. I'm really excited. We have to figure out where there is a local hospital just in case you pop, because at any point in the next month, we think it's possible that you could just, go into labor.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I've got my hospital bag together. I think I'm pretty much ready.
Yeah, I got to get mine ready to go because it could be a couple of days.
And we're getting our car seats installed today.
Yep, going to the firehouse. The fire department in Jefferson City, they install your child seat for free in your car just to make sure that you do it right. So the first time we do it, we want to make sure that we get it right. So
we'll be all ready.
Okay. Yeah. So we'll be all ready for our child. And then what happens when she gets her first mobile phone and decides to record her first video for YouTube? Well,
that's the next topic.
A lot of parents are faced with this same dilemma. The Wall Street Journal was reporting about a mom who started an Instagram account 3 years ago as kind of a pandemic era diversion. It was a way for her daughter, who is a dancer, preteen, to share photos with her family and her friends and other young dancers and moms. And they said that they bonded over it, that it was a really fun activity for both of them. They post videos, the girl dancing, modeling.
See how that would be helpful.
Living life in a small Midwestern town. Sounds a little familiar, right? What we're about to deal with. And the mom, who's a former marketing manager, right? So she's kind of like us. She's in the biz. She oversaw the account and she watched as the number of followers grew. Soon, photographers offered to take professional shots for the girl. Brands began sending free apparel for her to model. Right, we know what this is like, right? So
they're like, "Here's a little kitty bra. Wear this."
Right. She became popular really fast, but she started to notice some disturbing trends in the data that showed up on the account dashboard. Most of the girl's followers were adult men, and it's kind of like, send Bob's and Vagine, you get a lot of those weird comments. Hey, baby, love beautiful hearts and fire emojis and stuff, right?
Don't they do this in Japan all the time? Where they have those like K-pop girls that are, they look underage or they are underage and the men come and watch them and they have parasocial relationships with these girls.
Life.
Yeah, they really do.
I'm feeling lonely and
listening to that
if I could make you hold me.
Yeah.
Still I want it more.
See, I don't see any difference between this and the Disney and Nickelodeon kids back in the day.
I gave a second chance to Cupid.
This is where my brain is a little bit different than everybody else. I'm like, you know what? This has been going on for a long time. We're just calling it influencer. But the Mickey Mouse Club back in the day with Britney Spears, Christina Aguilera, Justin Timberlake. Oh boy, Justin Timberlake.
No, I'm not feeling stupid.
Yeah, it's like they were being exploited. I'm sure, there were a lot of men looking at Christina and Britney back in the day. And I remember my sister used to go to these modeling tryouts where it was like a huge group of kids and they walk across the stage. and then they get chosen to do a modeling training, and then they get model shots taken and all of this. She actually participated in that back in the 90s.
That love isn't real. Cupid is so dumb.
And what about pageant children? They've been around forever. So it's just in a different medium now. We have the internet now to spread all of this rather than just television, cable.
So the mom that the Wall Street Journal was following said that she was torn. In order to reach the influencer stratosphere, the account would need a lot more followers, and she would have to be less discriminating about who they were. Instagram promotes content based on engagement, and the male accounts she had been blocking tend to engage aggressively, lingering on photos and videos and boosting them with likes or comments. Running them off or broadly disabling comments would likely doom her daughter's influencer aspirations. So that was a reason to say no, but there were also reasons to say yes. The mom felt the account had brought her closer with her daughter, and second and third tier influencers can make tens of thousands of dollars a year or more. The money could help pay for college. So the mom said yes. She had to accept that grim reality. Being a young influencer on Instagram means building an audience, including large numbers of men who take an interest in children, right?
Yeah. And the thing is, sure, she's a dancer, so maybe that's a little more sexual than an unboxing video would be. It's like if Hazel said to us, hey, I want to do a YouTube channel where I unbox toys or where I talk about the Constitution. It's like that sounds really innocent, but weirdos are still gonna watch.
Yeah.
You really can't prevent the weirdos from watching unless you make it private.
Yeah,
but if you make it private, then you don't get the money.
Exactly. I saw Somniferum over in the chat was talking about the Nickelodeon documentary that we watched.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Apparently they have a new one coming out. It's called Quiet on the Set. And they have like a new episode that's going to be coming out sometime soon. And it goes to show that these, especially the major studios, they don't really have an interest in solving these problems because, and we're going to talk about Disney in a moment. There was that one assaulter who was convicted of assaulting Drake.
Right, that big
Drake
Nickelodeon.
Bell.
What was he, a director?
Yeah,
he was the big dude.
He was like he was the pickle guy on Nickelodeon. He was the guy who would walk around and put pickles in holes. Remember?
Oh,
remember the guy? He would walk around. He had a big tray of pickles, and on the Nickelodeon set, and he would say, "Did anybody want a pickle?" And then instead
that was just one of the weird things he did.
One of the weird things
he did. A lot of weird things.
Well, he got convicted. He got convicted in a court, and then he gets hired by Disney,
right
after he had been convicted of assaulting children.
Yeah, and he was making all of his coworkers uncomfortable too, even the adults.
Dan Schneider says, our AP for Liberty Shop friend over there. Good morning.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
And Courtney Conover reminds us too, Corey Feldman's been a good advocate for exposing the Hollywood pedos.
Well, yes, he was abused as well.
Remember what he said? He accused Charlie Sheen allegedly of doing.
I forget exactly, but it was some sort of abusive.
We've got to be careful about what we say.
Yeah, I don't. There's a lot of abuse allegations regarding children and adults.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. What do you think? Do you think, well, first of all, we've agreed that we will show photos of Hazel as a baby, at least.
Yeah, we've said that, like, when we have the baby, we're going to bring Hazel on the show and introduce her to everybody. Freedom Family Friday, like the first one that we can, and you're still going to be on the show. So baby Hazel's going to at least, be sitting over there in the studio, in Scott's other studio.
Right.
So that we can watch her.
Because as a baby, I don't think people would really recognize her. Would they really know who she was on the street? Unless she has bright red hair, then that would be a giveaway.
Well, and that's the thing. It's going to be a question of, like, when she does get older, like, are we going to try and protect her identity? I think it's probably a fool's errand. I think it's probably going to be something that, like, it's going to happen anyway. She's going to want to be a part of what we do.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of influencers online, and how they deal with this is they only take a photo of the back of their child's head. I know Julie Borowski does this.
Yeah, I see Lauren Southern does that as well.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, I get that, but people see us out and about in the community. Our fans, like when we're out at restaurants and stuff, they recognize us.
Yeah, Courtney Conover gets it right again. She says, bright red hair is our detriment. we can't hide, LOL.
Right.
Yeah.
And then I feel like, too, once Hazel is of school age, that's when other kids are going to start to make comments. And they'll be like, I know your dad, or I know your mom.
Yeah.
You know, and they'll be like, my daddy doesn't like your daddy because he's a libertarian, whatever. And so that's when I think we might need to have another conversation about, okay, how much should we really share her front and center online? Because other kids might start bullying her because of it.
If we wanted to protect our children's identity and safety, then I definitely chose the wrong career.
Yeah.
You know, politics and media is like, it's the last thing. It's the last thing that you want is to not have notoriety, right? Cecilia H, nice to see you. Good morning, Cecilia.
Hi, Cecilia.
She says that Brian Peck was the one that essayed Drake Bell, went to jail, and then was hired by Disney. Thank you. Yeah, Schneider was like the director of all of that stuff. He was the one who was like in the hot tub with what's her name?
Amanda Bynes.
Was it something like that?
Amanda Bynes had some weirdness going on as well with these people.
Yes. I think he was in the hot tub with Amanda Bynes, fully clothed, but still.
He was like a father figure to her.
Right.
Yeah.
So speaking of Disney, here's a video from, I think it's James O'Keefe's project. Yeah, James O'Keefe's project, talking about, this is the senior vice president at Disney saying there's no way we're hiring a white male.
There have been times where, there's no way we're hiring a white male.
Just kind of unspoken.
There are times when it's spoken, but
how would they say it?
There's no way we're hiring a white male. They say
like straight to you, or okay.
They'd be very careful how they message that to agents.
According to these videotapes, Disney blatantly discriminates against white men in particular.
I think I'm sort of like well prepared for it. I'm well positioned for it. But as far as Disney's concerned, I'm a white male. That's not who they're looking to promote at the moment.
As a white guy, even Michael has his own doubts about the possibility for advancement for himself at Disney. In fact, Michael actually got to experience Disney's discrimination against white males firsthand.
I've been at the company 11 years now, so I have friends in HR and I have friends in other divisions, and they're like, look, nobody else is going to tell you this, Mike, but they're not considering any white males for the job. They're just not. That's not what they want.
They even passed over a qualified half-black person for a promotion because they didn't look black enough.
We wanted to hire somebody in the department a few years ago now, who was half black, but didn't appear half black. And there was a creative executive who was like, "We're not that's not certain."
Thoughts?
But yet they hire gay white men.
Well, I think gay,
would that be a diverse hire?
I think gay is the key, right? So if you are a gay white male, then you're okay, right? But even that, I think actually they're cutting back on as well. They would prefer a gay black person. If they're half black, then they have to appear more black. Isn't this wild, Stephanie?
This seems like a lawsuit. Can't you sue about discrimination?
You could, and maybe
something like the Civil Rights Act of 1964. Does it apply here?
Yeah, potentially. In Florida, they might actually even apply it too. But it just depends. Something like that gets litigated in federal court. And I can't remember what the circuit court judge is that's over Florida, but it's likely to be it's probably a Trump appointee. So it is possible. Yes. And they should absolutely sue. And it's because of things like this that we're seeing and hearing more things like this.
Donald Trump's visit to Detroit this weekend was characterized by most of the media as a visit to a black church to court black voters, despite the noticeable scarcity of black people in the sanctuary. But that was not his only stop in the Motor City. Shortly after having his religious experience, slandering immigrants and banging on about crime, just as immigrant Jesus would have done, the twice impeached 34-count felon and adjudicated sexual assaulter, who's soon to be the Republican presidential nominee, shuffled over to the People's Convention, hosted by right-wing Turning Point USA, founded by anti-Dr. King and Black Pilots activist Charlie Kirk. And what was one of the messages shared with participants at that gathering? Not one I suspect would go over so well at church. That right there is right-wing Pizzagate conspiracy theorist Jack Posobiec unfurling a flag reading "White Boys Summer."
Actually, that's not Jack Posobiec, who is unfurling the flag. Jack is back here.
While hats with the same slogan were tossed to the screaming audience. For those who may not remember, and why would you? White Boy Summer was originally a line from a viral 2021 social media rant by legendary actor Tom Hanks's lesser-known son, Chet Hanks. The rant played off Megan Thee Stallion's...
Yeah, I don't know him.
First of all,
I've never known him.
First of all, everyone in the world is lesser known than Tom Hanks.
Right. 2019 song, Hot Girl Summer.
Hey guys, look, I just wanted to tap in really quick. I just got this feeling, man, that this summer is, it's about to be a white boy summer.
Oh my goodness. This is all just so confusing.
Yeah, so
everyone just wants to rattle each other.
Yeah, it's true. But I mean, why is the left surprised when they are so full of identity politics, when they say things like, we're not going to hire white men, and they say so proudly? Why are they surprised when people like that are out celebrating? I celebrate White Boy Summer. Don't we have a shirt? Did I make a shirt? I thought I was going to make one for the shop.
Caucasians?
Oh, well, we do. So you're right. No. As a matter of fact, we do. No, we have a whole Caucasians.
We have a black shirt as well. Celebrating the black people.
Stephanie, we do. We have a whole collection, actually.
They should have been throwing out our AP for Liberty shop black shirt into the church crowd.
Oh, it doesn't say blacks. We said, let me just show this is a good time to go shopping right now, as a matter of fact, because we're about to go get Justin. Yes, Stephanie, exactly. Hold on, here it is. If you guys haven't seen AP for Liberty Shop's Caucasians collection.
There's even a Jews shirt you can throw out at a synagogue.
We've sold
go to your local temple.
Minorities is actually, I think that might be the only one.
Oh my God, my it's like going limp.
Okay, all right, Stefan, that's what she said. All right, so here's the Caucasians collection. We've sold a lot of the Caucasian shirt with the Chads. So for White Boy Summer, speaking of, because yesterday's the first day of summer, get yourself some Caucasians team gear. The Caucasians men's basketball jersey or baseball jersey, that's got 5 stars. I think our buddy, is it Matt Unruh? Who is it that has the Reptilians shirt and loves it? We run this place.
Oh, yeah, I don't remember. But
speaking of reptilians,
the lizard people are real.
Yeah, speaking of the tribe and Jews, we've got so the Jews actually have more options than the other ones, as is their right. God's chosen people and all.
That's right.
So you can either join the tribe or you can just have Jews. And I found a Jewish model to put it on. So
isn't there Christians too on there?
Yes, we're not there yet. The gays, my brother Justin is the only person who's bought this shirt. Unapologetically fabulous. The gay Chads shirt. And it shows 2 Chads kissing. Oh. We have sold some Caucasians team logo phone cases, and we have sold Mexicans. Another very good one, very popular one. Mexican Chads.
Yeah. We're pro-immigration.
Hey, remember these? Oh, I need to raise the prices on these. Some of these are too cheap. Ball out Caucasians basketball jerseys. So you can get a basketball jersey version of it. Crew neck sweatshirts, short sleeve, deep necks. I'm telling you that our White Boy Summer shirts are quite popular. The minorities, you were right. The black people,
yes,
they're the minorities. So there you go. Then we've also got the colonizers, which is like the pilgrims. Mm-hmm. And it says, we came, we saw, we gentrified. Yes.
Yeah, there's something for everyone.
I think Urs Mommy bought that one on a mug. Christians, for those who love Jesus, you've got Jesus, the Pope, and a fundy American right there. So, and then Indians. That one we thought would be good, popular with Vivek Ramaswamy fans.
Right.
So since we're all doing identity politics this summer, you can get your Vivek Ramaswamy Indians tee, which you can use to show Bob's and Vagine.
Yeah, that reminds me. Remember that, was it Ann Coulter? That blonde-haired woman was like, I would not vote for an Indian man for president. Yes. She said that to his face, Vivek's face. So, I mean, these statements are made for everything nowadays.
All right. So since everybody is just identifying with whatever particular group they're a part of, that you were born with, your inimitable traits, right? The things that make you distinctly, your race, your gender, your sexuality, just might as well, instead of just trying to metaphorically wear it on your sleeve, wear it on your shirt. So head on over to ap4libertyshop.com.
I mean, go to your next Disney job interview as a white man, but be wearing a minority's t-shirt.
Exactly. See, I identify as a member of the minorities.
Right. I wonder if they would hire a Jewish appearing white man, because he's not white.
Jews used to be part of the protected class, but now we want to kill them and send them to the camps.
Right. So being Jewish, even though that's not white for a lot of people, that still is not.
If it's white, it ain't right. All right. You've all unlocked the bonus content. You get to watch that instead of the commercials. My brother Justin Peterson to comment on Disney. He used to work there as a white male, but he's gay, so that's okay. Enjoy the bonus content. Do some shopping at ap4libertyshop.com. It's White Boy Summer on the Wake Up America Show at wakeupamericashow.com.
Wake Up America Show bonus content is the willpower paradox. Setting your mind on a goal may be counterproductive. Instead, think of the future as an open question. Willingness is a core concept in addiction recovery programs, yet it is paradoxical. 12-step programs emphasize that addicts cannot will themselves into healthy sobriety. Ego and self-reliance often contribute to their problems. Recovering addicts must be willing. They must believe that the group and its principles can overcome their compulsive disease. This concept can be challenging and must often be taken on faith. Psychologist Ibrahim Sinai of the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign has explored this concept scientifically. He created a laboratory version of both willfulness and willingness to examine their connections to intention, motivation, and goal-directed actions. Sinai's research identified key traits necessary for achieving personal objectives. These traits are as relevant for long-term abstinence as they are for goals like losing weight or learning to play the guitar. Sinai explored self-talk, the inner voice that articulates your thoughts and intentions. He believed that the form and texture of self-talk could shape plans and actions. Sinai tested his hypothesis by having volunteers work on anagrams. Before starting, half the volunteers contemplated whether they would work on anagrams, while the others thought about the fact that they would be doing anagrams. The subtle difference between will I do this and I will do this put volunteers in different mindsets. Those with wondering minds completed more anagrams than those with willful minds. These findings are counterintuitive. Sinai hypothesized that questions evoke feelings of autonomy and intrinsic motivation, fostering success. To explore further, Sinai designed another experiment. Volunteers wrote either I will or will I repeatedly. Those primed with the question performed better on anagrams. Sinai extended his research to healthy living, measuring volunteers' intentions to start and maintain a fitness regimen. The results were consistent. Those primed with will I showed greater commitment to exercise. When asked why they felt motivated to exercise, those primed with the question sought positive intrinsic reasons. Those primed with I will cited guilt or shame. This finding is crucial. It suggests that questioning minds are more intrinsically motivated to change, looking for positive inspiration from within. Those asserting willpower lacked this internal motivation, explaining their weaker commitment to future change. They were closing their minds and narrowing their view of the future. In contrast, those with questioning and wondering minds were open to new possibilities. This openness makes them more willing to see and embrace future opportunities. In addiction recovery and self-improvement, being open-minded and questioning can lead to better outcomes than rigidly asserting willpower.
Good morning. Rise and freedom. I'm Austin Peterson. You're watching and listening to the Wake Up America Show on wakeupamericashow.com. If you've ever wondered how Austin got to be so eccentric, some might say even a tad flamboyant, well, it's because I had an influence in my life. When I was a very young man, I learned to read before I went to kindergarten. How did I learn to read before I went to the teacher? They're supposed to do your learning stuff there at the elementary school. Well, my big brother, Justin, tied me to a chair and forced me to read. And then he taught me how to sing. And then I taught him how to dance. And now I'm going to teach him how to start a podcast. We're going to call it Politically Homeless. He has no choice. His back is to the wall. We're burning his boats. Justin Peterson on Freedom Family Friday joining us. live from Boston. Justin here. How you doing, brother?
Hey, good morning. Happy Friday.
Happy
Glad
Friday, Justin. Glad to have you here. Stephanie, of course, still in studio. My smoking hot
There we go.
wife.
This is the first hour of your new show, Justin. So just take it away.
There you go.
You know,
there you go.
This is it.
Justin, I owe you $10. Nelson sent me $10 earlier as seed capital for you to start your own show.
With inflation, I can buy a candy bar.
Exactly. Actually, I found out a secret hack for free candy bars in my community. Did you know this, Stephanie?
Tell me.
I'm pretty sure I did, actually. Did you know that you can do your Amazon returns at Kohl's?
Okay.
Yes.
And have you ever done it?
Yes.
No, I've done it at UPS. That's what I do. I do my UPS.
You got to do it at Kohl's. Here's why. Okay. Because Kohl's, when you do a return, they give you $5 in Kohl's cash.
And a candy bar because you can buy it.
You go to the front and you buy candy bars with your $5 of Kohl's cash. You can walk out with 2 or 3 free candy bars whenever you do your Amazon. It's a free infinite candy bar glitch. Yes.
Why didn't I figure this out? Wow.
I had a point where I was returning so much Amazon stuff, they said, you can't return anything anymore.
Oh my gosh.
They shut me down.
Oh,
they shut me down.
Yeah,
they were
nice,
like, no,
nice shirt, Justin.
Done.
They're asking which of us now is the fashion influencer.
Oh, what does this
shirt I've always had crazy
like?
shirts.
What does it say? Let me see.
He's got a guitar and looks like the musical staff. Yeah, right there. Mm-hmm.
That Papa Peterson got you on Temu?
Damn, look at those guns.
That's a Temu shirt. That'd be cool if it had real guitar strings and you could play on your body.
Well, I play on my body anyway, so there you go.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
So if you've ever wondered where I've gotten my ebullient personality from,
ebullient. I have never heard that word before.
And my vocabulary, of course. I learned a lot of big words from Justin as well.
What is ebullient?
Ebullient means it's like effervescent, right? Like
yes. Cool.
Mm-hmm. Justin, you worked at Disney.
I did.
And I don't think you could now because I don't know that the gay card will play anymore because everybody's...
Okay, so a couple things. One is that guy is obviously in the higher executive levels of the company. I mean, people who are working in the day-to-day parks, they're going to hire whoever they want to hire. I mean, but the overarching thing that I kept taking away from this is, here's the thing where I'm at. I'm so demoralized that I just feel like everything is a psyop at this point and everything I'm watching is a lie. So that's my modus operandi now. Whenever I see anything, I'm like, this isn't true. And so then I'm like, okay, well, I got to figure out if this is true. So a couple questions is James O'Keefe was the one who busted this story out, I suppose.
Yes.
And I think, wasn't he at Project Veritas? Wasn't that his whole thing? So then my question is he an honest actor? One, right? Is he coming at this information honestly? Two, there's just some other parts of this story. Like the guy was on multiple Hinge dates, which I think is actually kind of funny if that's true. So I guess he was meeting these women who were secret covert journalists. But if you see the video that O'Keefe put out, which I watched, it's like 30 minutes of him just going into different dates. Like there's like maybe 4 or 5 or 6 different dates that this guy's on. Michael Giordano is this guy's name. And he's just basically out, if it's true, which is, of course, I don't accept anything as true. I mean, like trust but verify, that's the Reagan motto, right? Trust but verify. And so, he's just blasting the company about, their policies and what's going on and how he can't get advanced. I did look for his LinkedIn profile this morning and there is no LinkedIn profile for that guy, which means he may be, he might've been doxxed or something, it's like people have been coming after him. But I don't think that it's not untrue. Do you know what I mean? Like I think that the idea that would be true doesn't strain credulity because it could probably be very much true that that's the case. I've been following, I don't know if you followed the story about the Acolyte Star Wars thing that's been going down.
Oh yeah. Yes, of course.
No.
How bad it is.
It's all about so I know you're not big on the Star Wars canon, but so essentially it's like 2 lesbians were able to use the Force to have a child without a man, and it's just woke as hell. So it's
like black lesbian witches is what it's about.
Yeah.
But they've also done this whole moral relativism in the thing, which is like, well, maybe good and evil. There's a spectrum. Whereas the original Star Wars is literally about that, like these solid forces of good and evil. And so now when you live in this morally relativistic age, it's like, well, maybe Hitler was, he had some points. I mean, there's this moral relativism that's just crap.
That's where Kanye went.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just destroys. It just destroys what, because I think Star Wars gets to that archetypal, what Joseph Campbell was going for when he was talking about, the hero's journey and all of that. I mean, Star Wars was hitting some very deep human archetypes and human stories that go beyond, like an era, right? So like you could have put Star Wars. Star Wars literally could have been an opera. You know what I mean? Like the Ring of the Nibelungen.
It's a space opera.
Totally. I mean, Ring of the Nibelungen is a Wagner opera series, 4 operas, 15 hours together. I mean, everyone's like Lord of the Rings. I'm like, yeah, Wagner was doing that in the 1800s. But, these stories of like, these Norse gods and these mythology things, I mean, that's all baked into every culture has these things. Anyway, I digress. We were talking weeks ago about the Disney sort of commissars that are there now, the woke sort of ideological commissars that they've installed at Disney, who are sort of now culling and purging the Disney catalog, right? So if they're not, what they're doing is they're sort of putting trigger warnings now on all of these films, right? Like Peter Pan and what else? Cinderella, and they couldn't have Tinkerbell. That was what it was. Remember we were talking about Tinkerbell a while back, how they're like, Tinkerbell's problematic.
Her hips couldn't fit through the keyhole, so she was not body positive.
Right.
She was not body positive, right? So they were sending a message to girls that like, oh no, you're caring about your looks or what, your weight is a negative thing. And now they have race commissars, and I say commissars with a K, who are installed in these organizations to push and foment this ideology. And the reason I think, if this is true, again, I'm conjecturing here, if this is true, what Disney's doing, there's a larger reason for it, which is the ESG scores, right? It's these
environmental, social, and governance standards,
right? So that they're giving these people points, and so when Disney does hits these particular metrics, they get a higher score in the ESG score. So there's an incentive in that regard to do it. Unfortunately, the stock of Disney's in the tank, right? I mean, Disney's down like 30% or something. It's just not good. People, and with the Acolyte, it's like, I think it got maybe an 18% rating on like Rotten Tomatoes. Like it was just bombed. I mean, what happens when you alienate your fan base, the people that love your product and what you're doing, and then you just say, F
they don't care. It's like they hired all these woke women to run the place and to inject their gender and identity politics into the canon because I guess it's like there's some deep-seated insecurity, and maybe that this is just an ingrained female trait. Maybe it's not. Maybe the women have been conditioned into this, but it's like they need to see themselves being represented everywhere at all times in every sense, and it must come at the expense of who they perceive as their enemies. So, for example, when you see a commercial, we talked about this earlier this week. If you see a commercial, they must be biracial, but if there is a white male, he has to be depicted as a bumbling fool.
Yeah, like in the Barbie movie.
In the new Star Wars, yes, in the new Star Wars series, for example, they have this purple-haired woman who is always denigrating the rebel commander and not letting him in on what's happening in the battle plans. And she's always having to talk down to him and to chasten him and to ensure that like he does not take any sort of a leadership position because the purple-haired woman is in charge. And they also they retcon their history as well. They'll rewrite the history, right, using alternate universes to say, well, the character wasn't actually like this at all. Luke Skywalker, perfect example. They destroyed. I mean, Justin, you loved Luke Skywalker as a kid, right? Most of your heroes were Wonder Woman and the
look what they did to my boy.
Right,
look what they did to my boy.
Well, it's just funny because I remember, you would always love to cosplay as like the Wicked Queen from Snow White.
The Wicked Witch.
The Wicked Witch from Snow White. She was the evil queen.
No, just a witch in general, like Wizard of Oz witch, a Wizard of Oz witch.
Yes, but also remember from Snow White, the Wicked Queen, who was the queen, mirror, mirror on the wall, and you had the
I
mask.
liked her.
Yeah, the mask.
Yeah,
so you'd cosplay.
She had the personality disorder. That's why I liked her. She had the personality disorder. She was narcissist.
Wow, mental health, all that time ago.
I'm really drawn to women with personality disorders.
Stay away.
Right. Or Maleficent from Sleeping
the
Beauty.
And I love the Wicked Witch too in the Wizard of Oz.
Yes.
I just love the Wicked Witch.
But Luke Skywalker was like the one male character that I remember you identifying with when we were very young. You very much liked Luke Skywalker. We all did. He was a hero that we all looked up. We looked up to him because, especially when you're a young boy, there's something about that longing for adventure, and especially for us, Justin. We were two little boys on a farm, just like Luke Skywalker, who dreamed of going into the big city and finding adventure and becoming a hero. I mean,
it's the same thing with King Arthur. It's the same thing with King Arthur. The Knights of the Round Table. I mean, it gets right to that whole, white knighting, the knights, and then the shining armor and all that, which I think for young boys is really exciting. It's exciting to read those stories. Of course, I was reading Where the Red Fern Grows and crying over dogs when I was a kid.
Yeah. Steffi hasn't read or seen that one yet, but
you better watch it. It's really good.
I can see where having good idols that are minorities would be helpful to like the Black communities, the Hispanic communities, because it's not the same to look up to a white man as a Black person.
It's true, but they had those characters. The problem is that that those characters existed. So what you'll frequently hear from many of these woke women is that they want strong female characters. But what they do is they create, like Rey from the new Star Wars. She's a Mary Sue. She can do no wrong. She has no flaws. But
same with Bella in Twilight. Same with Bella in Twilight.
Right. And a perfect example of the opposite of this is Sigourney Weaver's character from Aliens.
Oh, yeah.
Right. She's not a Mary Sue. She has flaws. No. She's got psychological trauma, right? And but she's a strong female character. Get away from her, you bitch.
Linda Hamilton in the Terminator. Linda Hamilton, incredible.
Terminator, yes.
Why can't we have characters that have flaws that aren't mentally ill? Why can't we just be like, no, they're not psychotic. They just have some issues.
It's the same reason. It's the same reason that my acting teacher George Cron in my sophomore year of college gave me a D in my acting class. He gave me a D in my acting class. Oh, it was a bad grade, and I was shocked.
You're so good friends with him.
You know why? He said I was boring. He said that my characters had no depth. He said that there was no levels to them, and they're not interesting. Nobody wants to watch a normal person on stage.
I would have been devastated.
I was crushed.
Oh my God.
But I learned a lesson, and that's that you have to give your characters flaws. You have to give them traits because normal human beings have flaws.
Oh my gosh,
normal human beings, and like they want to see you overcome those flaws, and that's what makes a great female character. Not some Mary Sue who's perfect. It's like Miss Marvel from the superhero movies we don't watch anymore. But it's like she is perfect. She can do no wrong. She can use the Force. She is perfect at the Force. She needs no training. Certainly not from a man. Like they can do no wrong. It's because they just cannot see. They cannot. Mulan, another example. They retcon Mulan. Mulan was not supposed. She was a weak Chinese girl who had to get down to business and become a man. Right? She had to learn these things because she wasn't perfect.
Well, and even to say the same thing of my girl Wonder Woman, who I love, if you go to the original story of Wonder Woman, she had to fight to go to America on Paradise Island. She had to compete, against all the other Amazons in order to be able to be the one chosen one to go to and her mother was the queen, right? So her mother was the queen of Paradise Island. So it wasn't the situation of nepotism, where it was like, oh, Wonder Woman had to go undercover, or had to be just like given the trophy because she was, the queen's daughter. She had to put on a mask and go incognito into the competition and compete. And she was ultimately the best one for the job. And then she took her mask off and her mother's like, oh my God, it's my daughter. But again, it's that idea of meritocracy. It's the idea of meritocracy in these characters. Right? That they've done something, they've had some sort of conflict, they've had some sort of struggle that they've had to overcome in order to become the characters that we know and love today.
God, it's a great conversation. Love this stuff. Love it. If you're loving it too, don't forget to click that like button. I know for many of you who are watching the show, you're probably a regular. We didn't get featured on the front page today, so sad.
I just need to go back to Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Family Matters, those great shows.
I love TGIF. What is that? Must See Friday? What is it? Friday TV? TGIF?
Yes.
That was what it was.
TV.
Go to those shows. We'll be just fine.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Oh my gosh. You know what? You want to do a sociological experiment. Go on YouTube and watch the premiere of 1977 Star Wars and look at the demographics of the audience that are standing up to go see that film. It's like everybody, it's a cross-pollination of the entire culture of the United States demographically,
Really? Wow.
going to see Star Wars, and they are excited about it. And I'm like, that is so not now. Like if everybody's got to have their own, little particular segregated entertainment, how is that progress? Like, that makes no sense to me. And also the egotism and the narcissism of anyone that would say, well, I need the people on the stage to be like me. No, you're missing the point of art. You're missing the point of what it's supposed to do.
Do you think back then, though, they were just used to having to watch white people in films, even though that might not be what they really wanted, but that's just what they had to deal with?
Well, at that time, I don't know, because they had all those 70s shows like Shaft, and they had all those other movies, that were coming out that were all total like black casts.
Okay.
Right? So there was a whole other industry of filmmaking that was being done for black audiences. I love Blackula. I don't know if you ever get a chance to watch Blackula, but it's freaking awesome.
Yes.
I love Blackula. It's amazing.
And
that guy that's in it.
Stephanie doesn't know what blaxploitation is. Maybe some of our audience doesn't either. Could you just explain it to us real quick?
Well, it was just sort of a film movement in the 1970s that sort of it pulled this sort of black culture into film, which was usually sort of like grindhouse film, which was sort of kind of real gritty, gritty life. So you get like Foxy Brown, out there kicking ass and like taking names. And you would just sort of get a black audience that it was black. Yeah.
It's like, Austin Powers, the Destiny's Child singer, Beyonce.
Oh yeah.
That character, that's kind of reminiscent of that. It plays on stereotypes and tropes to the extreme. It's like my foxy Cleopatra, right? And it's kind of like
so good
to the extreme.
Kind of like the Nutty Professor movie.
Kind of,
those people were
sort of,
extreme stereotypes.
Right. So it's kind of like, we were watching this movie last night, and it had some characters that were like that.
Blackface in it.
Oh yeah. Trading Places. We were watching last night.
I'm thinking of the TLC
with
show.
Jamie Lee Curtis and Dan Aykroyd and Eddie Murphy. And in that movie, Dan Aykroyd appears as a Jamaican man in blackface. They actually, Amazon Prime, because we were watching it on Amazon, they actually had it in the trigger warnings to start the show, just so you know, there will be blackface in this movie, in case any sensitive people were watching it and were like, oh my God, there's a white man dressed up in black. I'm going with a black costume on.
Yeah.
I'm going to lose my crap right now. But there are people out there, Justin, who would lose their crap if you did something like that today. What's fascinating,
well,
though,
it's funny because it didn't used to be that way, and you could make a joke and just be like, man, move on, and I think it was getting to the point in the 90s where things were just really kind of equaling out, and then there was a faction of people who just decided that this is a great way to make money and a great way to make a living, which is to just be a potentially disgruntled racial grifter, and divide us all, to separate us all from each other.
Circling back to the original part of this conversation, we're talking about Walt Disney, and this conversation started because of the video that came out from James O'Keefe. And I actually tend to trust James O'Keefe just because he's been proven right, multiple times again, but it's smart. I think it is smart to trust but verify. But I do think that in terms of how the C-suite, right, the executives are going to look at hiring someone, it's like that professor in academia the other day, the history professor who was the liberal professor, who says he got busted for saying he thinks himself as a white liberal professor can't get hired. I mean, Justin, you can go and do the job that you did in 1999. You can go work at Disney World and you can check people out at the cashier. But if you think that you're ever going to get a job in the C-suite or be an executive or move up in the corporate world, that's not going to happen.
Well, I mean, and that's where I think Stephanie earlier was right. I mean, lawfare. I mean, the 1964 Civil Rights Act is going to have to start to kick into gear here, because people are going to have to start doing a class action lawsuit against the companies that do this. But again, you have to be able to have proof of it. That's the issue. You have to have verifiable proof that someone can actually prove that they didn't get, for example, a promotion because of their skin color. I mean, if they can prove, this is where all this stuff gets very soft and nebulous, because it's like, well, he said, she said, and how do you bring a case with sort of conjecture and sort of innuendo? Because that's what he was saying in the video, right? He was saying like people can't really come out directly and say it because of the fact that they could, be sued and stuff. So, but I think the only way is that you got to just start suing these people into oblivion. Yeah.
Well, Justin, I mean, I know that like, this is kind of personal. If you want to like talk about something else, we can. But I mean, you want a job in academia. And I mean, frankly, I don't know that there's a future for someone like you in academia.
There is no, the institutions are captured. The institutions are all captured. They are all captured. And there's no other way at this point, they're so far gone. I mean, that even a person who's in the center doesn't have a chance, there's just no way to come to the table and not have to bow to the reigning orthodoxy of what's going on in universities. Although I will say, I live 10 minutes by bus, 30 minutes by foot from Harvard University. I can literally walk there. And they have gotten rid of their DEI requirements and things like that in their school. So I am hoping, as Harvard goes, other schools will follow. That's academia and the private sector are obviously not the same thing, but the ideological capture is just, I think I told you when I applied for a job at a particular school in Missouri that's centered in Columbia, a big state school. I had to literally, one of the parts of the requirements was to create a DEI statement. I had to create some sort of a DEI statement. And I said to myself, this is a great job for me. This would be literally a perfect job for me to have, like exactly in my wheelhouse, exactly in my area of expertise in terms of teaching and also historical research. And I looked at that and I said, I'm not willing to write a loyalty statement to an ideological belief that I do not believe in and that it goes against my values of liberalism and equality under the law. So I was like, I can't take that job. I couldn't get that job because I didn't want to bow to the religion. I wasn't going to bow to that God. I was like, I'm not bowing to your God. Race Marxism is real. It's a real thing.
Yep. Justin, so I forgot to tell everybody, and I hope people aren't too mad at me yet, but we do have to end a little bit early today, not right now. But the studio is needed at 9 a.m., so we have to bring it to a close at 8:45. But I'd like to offer up a challenge to the audience for the next 20 minutes, and I'm going to make a pledge. It's not the biggest audience we've ever had, but we do have a lot of our regulars. So here's what I'd like to make a pledge and see where our audience is at. Get a sort of a market feel for the demand for a show that would be hosted by you. Politically Homeless is what we've kind of tossed around. But I pledge that for the next 20 minutes, every Rumble Rant donation made to the show will go to Justin. So if you are a fan of Justin's appearances on the show and you would like to inspire him to step up and get into the ring and make his own show that would be a part of our content network, then get those Rumble Rant donations in. We've got 20 minutes to raise as much as we can. It's a fund drive for JP.
Make his dreams come true.
You're having a bake sale just for me.
For the mentally retarded, yes. Here we are.
Guilty.
So in the next 20 minutes, let's see how much we can raise. And I pledge no matter how much it is, whether it's $5, $10, $50, $500, all of it goes to JP. Courtney Conover just donated the first $5.
Wow.
There we go. Thank you, Courtney.
They believe in you.
How exciting.
Think about just
goodness.
$100 to JP right there.
Wow. Somebody donated $100?
Andy Opperman.
Are you kidding me?
Another $5 from Cecilia.
Jeez Louise.
So
they love you. They really love you.
All of the donations, starting now, from now on to including those, to the next 20 minutes, will go directly to Justin as inspiration for what he might be able to accomplish if he had his own show. Another $20 from L-Dubs.
Oh, dear.
Justin,
they're throwing money at you.
Justin, I'm going to be writing you a big check here at the end of the month.
I feel like Tiffany at Hooters on a Friday night.
You don't even have to show your Bob's and Fit jeans. Look at that.
Hey, listen. Worse things have happened.
This is proof that men can be successful.
Oh, just I see. Here's the deal. So I'm trying to get Justin and Camellia to start their shows. We've got somebody else actually who's reached out who wants to do it, and they seem pretty raring to go. So I think that the model is that we build a network around people like Justin and Camellia and this show, and perhaps this gentleman this weekend. We're going to create their own product line of merchandise, and we're going to give Justin a share of the profits, and we're going to give Camellia a share of the profits. And these kind of Rumble Ranch donations, we would do like, a share too, so that they would have they would be building up their own names and their own networks. Thank you, Clementine, for your $5 donation as well. That check that I'm writing to my brother is just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. But
$150 or something.
Yeah, it's getting pretty big. So
this is crazy.
Yeah,
I know it is.
Yeah, so I'd love to write my brother a huge check at the end of this month. But honestly, I'd love to write my brother a huge check every month. So if you get those Rumble Rant donations in today, that might be the kind of seed capital that would be necessary to show Justin that he doesn't need to go swim in the shark-infested waters of academia. He needs to start politically homeless. And another $10, Jews for Justin. Thank you, Joni.
Jews for Justin.
Mazel tov.
Mazel tov. Mazel tov. Mazel tov. Think about all the musical theater references you'll get from Justin. Think about all of the opera references you're going to get from Justin. Not only will he be able to talk about Star Wars, canon, Wonder Woman, and all of the pop culture stuff, but he's also going to be able to give you a detailed breakdown of, academia and the diversity, equity, and inclusion. I mean, my brother is like 20, 30 higher IQ points than I am. So if you really love big brain time, that'd be like an hour to 2 hours, however long his podcast is. It'd be just like jam-packed full of big brain goodness. So let's
You're asking me to stick my head above the parapet. So
well, to the victor go the spoils. Only the brave. No guts, no glory. No risk, no reward. Right? That's just how it is. But I can see Justin having a talk show that dwarfs the audience for the Wake Up America show, just because I think that it's even a better niche. But yeah, so get those Rumble Rant donations in now. Everything that gets donated again until 8:45 a.m. Central Time today is a donation to my brother directly to inspire him to start his own show. Thank you, Frickety, for that $10 as well. JP for Liberty. Build the network. Yes. Justin could be the gay Jordan Peterson. Yes.
Absolutely. I can see that.
Well,
you know a lot about mental health.
Oh, yeah.
I do. Yes, I do. Yes. I do.
And the Gottman Institute, relationships.
Oh, yeah. Well, and just like logic. Like that's my other thing that I really love. It's just logic and like understanding that and rationality and, being led by evidence actually instead of feelings. But it's and understanding how we think about things. That's the other thing too. I'm always so interested in. It's like errors in thinking. Because I'm like, you need to balance both. You need to be able to have emotions, but then you also need to be able to not be led astray by them.
I think it'd be fun if we did something where, because Justin's already a regular guest on my show, we could get like either Camellia or myself or whoever to be like, regular guests for him to help him fill out his.
Camellia loves him.
I know. They'd have good conversations.
I think she has like a mini crush on him. Honestly.
Well, how much fun would it be instead of like hearing my misogynist take on the dating world? It'd be good to hear Justin's take on the dating world from his perspective, because mine is obviously the hetero normative and his is the homo normative. And so in that it would be nice to hear his take on stories like, the Bill Belichick story we've been talking about all week, which was so triggering for people, this conversation about the much older man with the much younger woman. What's funny is that it's very triggering in the hetero world for like older men to be dating younger women, but in the gay community, that's just a Tuesday, right?
I mean, it's no big deal. It's like you don't even think twice about it. I mean, I have one of my dear friends that I adore. He's in his 50s and he's dating a guy in his early 30s. And I'm like, it's no big deal. Like, it's not a big deal. But I mean, either people have, like you had posted that meme about consent. I'm like, either people can say, is a 21-year-old person an adult? I'm like, who cares? I mean.
Well, the meme that I had posted about consent was that it showed a 30-year-old man with a 21-year-old girl, and they're saying we're consenting to, I consent. And then there's this, there's this angry, bitter 30-year-old woman, same age as him, who's like, I don't consent. Right? Oh, aren't you forgetting to ask someone? right? It's kind of like, do we need your approval to have this kind of a relationship? I mean, we have a 7-year gap.
Yeah, and I'm going to say, we were talking about this topic just at home, but I never was really into people who were older than me. I would say 3 years older was like my maximum when I was in my 20s. And so I never thought I would be with somebody who was 7 years older. But with Austin, I put aside the whole age thing just because of all of his other qualities. I didn't even think about our age difference.
Well, there's like pros and cons. And one of the cons, is that, I'm going to die sooner, right?
Right. Yeah. Because I was saying, great. So I'm going to be a widow. And then what? I get to be alone. Whereas he gets all the perks. He gets this, hot nurse, caregiver, me. Taking care of him until his last days, and then I'm alone.
Yes,
I'm deceased.
But what about the pros of dating an older man like myself, Stephanie? There are some pros.
Not afraid of commitment, whereas in my last relationship, my ex was 2 years younger than me. And so he was not ready for commitment yet. So the maturity level is much higher when you date somebody older than you.
I have a career.
They're established.
You have
financially,
status, right?
They can protect you more because, whether or not you admit it as a woman, you don't really look up to people who are younger than you. When a man is younger than you, you feel like they don't have as much experience. At least that's how I felt. And so an older person, I naturally respect them more. I think they have more wisdom than me.
Yes. And
so what's more scandalous? A younger woman and an older man, or an older woman and a younger man?
Well,
which is more?
I think it's the older man with a younger woman because if you watch that movie Harold and Maude, in high school and psychology class,
everyone was in. Why was that the high school movie? Why was that the movie that everyone in high school?
I don't know.
Like you couldn't be in drama club, you couldn't be in the theater if you didn't want. It was like a rite of passage for being in the theater.
Yeah, you had to watch Harold and Maude in our psychology class in high school. But it was kind of taboo at one point. But I feel like now with like cougar culture, that it is less of a taboo and more of a you go girl because we have female empowerment and it's all about like you dating that younger man. I mean, it might be like somebody might be like, oh, that's kind of scandalous.
Like I think about the Jenner, the wife,
right?
And she was dating somebody very young,
right? But in gender dynamics, Justin, the way that heterosexual relationships work is that if a woman has not found a partner and she's past the age of fertility and she does want to find a partner, she changes her mind. If she's done girl bossing, too close to the sun for 20, 30 years and she's hit almost 40 and she doesn't have a partner and all of a sudden she's like, oh my God, I actually do want a life and kids and all this stuff. Then what happens is she says to herself, well, I need to find a man who's age appropriate for myself. She doesn't want to date a much younger guy. She wants to find someone age appropriate, but age appropriate men tend to be attracted to women who are younger than them.
Oh, on those dating apps? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's also a shame because the idea too that even marriages last. I mean, what's the stats on that, right? So you might have people who have 2 marriages under their belt, 3 marriages under their belt, and then it's like you have so many. It's like, yeah, you sort of. Although I'm in a different situation because as men get older, they turn into sugar daddies, right? That's kind of what happens to older men. So at least in the gay culture, so they've always got some cachet, even like 20-year-old, 18-year-olds. I mean, I'm not even joking when I get a proposition by 18-year-olds, like 18.
Wow.
They're like, hey, daddy. I'm like, you're a fetus. Like, you are a literal fetus. What the hell?
Think gay men care so much about their hygiene, and they tend to look younger. Even the older ones.
That's very true. We moisturize,
50,
darling. We moisturize.
Like they care about their physique. They got the muscles. It's like they can rock it.
Hold on, I got to play this 30-second commercial. This is from this is like 10 years old at this point, but it's CougarLife.com.
So are you tired of meeting the same types of girls in the bar? You need a sandwich.
Oh, neat!
Immature girls who think that they're all that?
Oh, so you're a computer geek.
You fold sweaters for a living, honey. That's where CougarLife.com comes in. Older women know what they want, and it's young guys just like you.
Buy me a drink.
How about I buy you a drink?
Buy me a drink? How about I buy you a drink?
I love it. Listen, I mean, I'm so pro anybody getting their person. I mean, get your person, find your person. You know, I celebrate anybody getting their person. You know, and I don't have time. I'm too busy trying to make money to figure out how to look at somebody else's life is going. You know, and what they're doing. It's like I'm too busy weeding my own garden. I don't have time to look over what you're doing. So I just feel like I don't care about this crap. This like age crap. It's all crap.
Right.
Pork Chop 159 donated $5. Says he wants a show from Justin. Thank you, Pork Chop.
Yay.
Remember, we've got 10 more minutes left on the show, and for the next 10 minutes and the last 10, every donation that comes in, Rumble Rant, goes directly to my brother Justin Peterson as an inspiration for him to start his own show. So get those Rumble Rant donations in now, right now. We got 10 more minutes left. Okay, continue. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I mean, yeah, I think everybody's going to be different, and that's okay. We all have different preferences. And I was talking too, if you're with somebody who's way older than you, if there's such a huge age gap, it will be hard to really connect on certain generational things. You know, like Austin and I, because we were both born in the 80s, I was 88, he's 81. We still know similar music. We still know similar TV shows, and that bonds us together.
Girl brain.
Whereas if you're with somebody who's from a couple generations before
this
you.
is such a girl brain thing to say, right? Like you don't understand the mind of the 71-year-old man who is dating the young virgin cheerleader who has no tattoos and can do the splits.
Does he want a companion or just a sexual partner?
We all want a sexual partner.
Right.
I think men want to feel vital. Men want to feel vital. And let me just pose this at men, and I'm not going to be like, oh, men are great and women are suck. No, because men are insecure just as much as women are.
Yeah.
And men, when they are with a woman who is attracted to them, they feel alive. They feel virile. They feel that they matter. And so for an older man to date a younger woman like that, it's a demonstration of the man wanting to still feel like he has value and that he has some sort of contribution to make to the world, or that he can still get it, right? That the man can still get it. He's still got game. So it's very much a confidence boost, you know?
Sure.
Men don't like to age any more than women do, right? Men don't like to get older any more than women do. We don't. And so when we get a cute little thing on our arm, man, it makes us feel like we're 100 feet tall.
Well, and they're like, and a lot of the attacks will come, you know, at the men for that reason, right? But they'll also attack the young girl, and they'll say, well, she's just a gold digger, and she just wants him for his money, and she's not attracted to him. He's gross. He's disgusting. But what they're again, girl brain. What you're forgetting is that being like. Wanting a man for his money and his power and his resources is a form of attraction, right? She does it because she is attracted to him because of those things. That is a legitimate form of attraction.
Yes, and you and I have seen those videos where the guy has a shitty car and he tries to pick up on a girl in the street and she's like, no thanks. And then the same guy gets a different car. Suddenly the girls are like, oh, is this your car? Wow. And they suddenly show interest in it. Right. So there's something to that argument.
Right,
you know?
right. It's like, you know, you can look past certain things about someone that you may not say, okay, well, you know, not everybody feels like they have to have a young, tight body in order to be attracted to their partner for whatever reason, right?
Correct.
Not everybody's like, oh, well, it has to be a 10 in order for me to be attracted to them. You can be attracted to people for lots of reasons, you know, like.
That's right.
I've had girlfriends in the past that were not 10s, right? And it was because I found things about them attractive that had not a lot to do with their looks, right? And I mean, it's possible.
The greater number of men find the greater number of women attractive. In other words, men are more willing to take a plethora of different kinds of women. It is not the same with women. It's an inverse, right? Many women are not as attracted to as many men. There's very much a smaller pool of men that women are attracted to. That's real. That's facts. That's not opinion. That's facts. Yeah.
That's why Baby Hazel is going to be so attractive, because my picker
well,
very picky.
Women have right of reproduction. I mean, you know, they have right of mate. I mean, it's like, you know, and the men, and that's, Isn't that another animal species? I mean, don't men court the female and like, hey, look at me? You know, the birds do the same thing. The birds are like, look at my dance. I can do this dance. Look. And she's like, no, you suck. And she's like, I'm not going to mate you. You can't dance.
Real quick, but I got to pause real quick. Thank you to Frickety for the $5 donation. 5 minutes left. Let's get Justin a show. Absolutely. But I also want to remind our listeners that Rumble has their own exclusive apparel line. It's finally arrived. They're now offering 20% off all purchases in the Rumble store with their discount code DROP20. If you want to support the brand that's fighting for free speech and fighting for our First Amendment, this is the best way to do it. They have tees, sweaters, hats, plus much more. Go to rumble.store and make sure to enter code DROP20, as the promo code to get 20% off your entire order. Thank you very much to rumble.com for those live reads. We appreciate that very much. Just a few minutes left to go. Stephanie, I got to ask you a quick favor.
Sure.
Kelton, the studio manager, is locked out. You locked the door behind us, didn't you?
Oh, I did.
Would you mind?
I'm always so paranoid.
Would you do me a favor, please, and go let Kelton in real quick? And it's time for us, and then come back and we'll finish the show real quick.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
I have to say my ending line.
You do have to say your ending line. So
I have to say my ending.
Go let Kelton
Austin,
into
could
the
your
studio.
wife be any cuter?
No, she can literally not be
literally,
any cuter. Yeah,
the
she
literally the
cannot.
cutest ever.
Oh yeah, and you know, Justin, I've had a lot of girlfriends in the past. You remember some of them?
I know.
And Stephanie was always the best, the pick of the litter. I waited until I was older because I'd had enough experience. Remember, like some of the girlfriends I had cheated on me, right? I had a few broken hearts.
Well, you didn't know. You had to learn, just like everybody else.
I had to learn. Well,
Yeah.
this is why, and this is so controversial. I give this advice to people over the week is that you need to get some experience, men.
Yes, I agree.
Because I had to get through the cheaters in order to find Stephanie. I had to know what a good woman was to find Stephanie.
I really think that people should date a lot but then come up with it. I have this great, and here's where I get really nerdy. I have this really great game that I bought years ago. It's a card game, and it's called Who Should I Be With? And basically it's a card deck, and there's a card deck for everything. But the card deck has on one side a personality trait, right? So it reads a lot of books, right? Might be one personality trait. And on the other side of it, it says doesn't read at all. Right. So then on each side of that card, you get the positives and the negatives of that particular behavior, right? Because there's positives and negatives to everybody's personality, behaviors, and traits, right? Everybody's traits are positive or negative. The objective of the game basically is that you sort of lay out like 6 ideal qualities that you would want in a partner, right? You lay out those 6 things. And then through the way the game is done, you turn over 2 of the 6 cards. So now you've got 2 of 6 cards that are the inverse of the qualities that you want. And then you look at that person, right? And you say, is this somebody that I would actually want to be in a relationship with? In other words, you really are able to learn what is it you want in a relationship. I think many people go into relationships and they don't know what they want. They don't know exactly what they want or what they need. And so they sort of just take whatever comes their way rather than being very discriminating about knowing themselves first, knowing how, what are the things that they need in a relationship, how are they in a relationship, and then looking for that person that matches those things. And so that's where the dating situation comes in. You just need to go out and kiss a lot of frogs. And you can't kiss 3 frogs. You got to kiss like 10 frogs or 20 frogs. You really do. You need to date around.
Circling back to
part of dating is learning what you like. Part of dating is learning what you find attractive in another person.
Circling back to the whole Disney reference as we wrap this conversation up, Justin, it looks we've raised like almost $200 to give to
That's
you.
crazy.
I'll be writing you a big check at the end of this month.
Congratulations.
We get paid from Rumble.
Wow.
Thank you all to the supporters. You've got like 1 minute left if you want to get any more Rumble rants in. Justin Peterson. Justin, anything else you want to say before we go? We got 1 minute.
Come visit my Substack, justinpeterson.substack.com. It's where I write about singing if you're into music. Yeah, I teach voice. If you want to take a lesson with me, find me on my website, petersonvoicestudio.com.
There we go. Justin, we love you, brother. We'll see you next week.
Love you too.
All
Thanks.
right. It was fun. Stephanie, anything else you want to say before we go?
Please watch my hustling and homemaking video from this week where I make strawberry jam with only a few ingredients. I'm working on my next video for next week. It was kind of a fail, but that's okay. And as always, be free.
All right. Well, that's it. Thanks, guys. Sorry we had to end the show earlier today, but they need the studio. We will be back on Monday. Of course, every Friday is Freedom Family Friday, but basically one of these weeks or one of these days, Austin and Stephanie, just no show because I'm going to be having a baby. So
We're going to live stream from the hospital.
Maybe not. Yeah, right. I don't know if we'll see about that. We'll keep an eye on things, but I will take 2 or 3 days off whenever the baby comes someday in the next month. There's 6 weeks or so. So just be ready for that. Steffi's going to take a month off, but she will still come into the studio to do the show when she feels ready for it. It's up to her. And you'll get to meet baby Hazel and all that kind of stuff. Thanks for everybody supporting us. Thanks for the Rumble rants, the donations, the purchase at apforlibertyshop.com. Keep them coming. Exit through the Griff Shop, and we'll see you guys here on Monday at the Wake Up America Show at wakeupAmericaShow.com.
Oh, I already said be free.
Say it one more time.
Sing it as always, be free.
Be free. See you guys.
Expanse of time, a year might seem like a mere moment, but oh, what a year it's been. In September 2022, Austin and Stephanie Peterson embarked on a journey to wake up America. They began humbly, with just 20 souls tuning in, learning, listening, and though challenges arose, like the looming shadow of YouTube demonetization, their spirit never waned. And now, thanks to you, thousands rise with the sun to join them, to listen, to engage, to be a part of a community. So here's to you, and to Wake Up America, for memories shared, for friends made, for the journey ahead, and for never, ever forgetting to rise and freedom. Happy anniversary.
I'm Donald Trump, and I approve this message. Believe me, Austin Peterson is the best. He's got the greatest Wake Up America show I've ever seen. Whenever I tune in the mornings and watch the live stream, let me tell you, he has got the absolute best content. I love his guests. It's just a total blast to watch, and I highly endorse and recommend the Wake Up America show. It's terrific, believe me.
Is the outdoor of your home about as exciting as a library? Then spice it up and unbore your space with our custom metal signs. Crafted with love and a bit of libertarian magic, you can customize your own metal sign at apforlibertyshop.com. So head to apforlibertyshop.com, customize your own metal sign today.
Welcome to a world of vocal discovery at Peterson Voice Studio. I'm Justin Peterson, here to guide your musical journey. Envision a place where your voice reaches new heights, where every note tells a story. We embrace all singers, from the enthusiastic shower vocalists to aspiring stars, ensuring each voice finds its unique rhythm and tone. Are you ready to elevate your voice? Visit PetersonVoiceStudio.com and sign up for remote lessons tailored just for you. Let's begin this melodious journey together.
Tired of spending your hard-earned money on woke corporations that don't share your pro-freedom values? Fed up with sipping liberal lattes and progressive cappuccinos? Introducing Founding Flavors from AP for Liberty Shop. Get your day started with Washington's Revolutionary Roast. As robust and principled as the man himself, this blend is the shot of energy heard round the world. Or maybe you want to taste the fervor of freedom with Adams's Patriotic Perk. It's as dynamic and balanced as the U.S. Constitution, sure to awaken your spirit of liberty. For the aficionados, we've got the Jeffersonian Java, a complex mix of flavors that speaks volumes about your refined tastes. And don't forget Betsy's Liberty Lullaby, our decaf option, crafted with the same care and dedication Betsy Ross put into our Star-Spangled Banner. This blend lets you enjoy the taste of freedom anytime without losing sleep. No woke beans here, folks. Just pure, patriotic, pro-freedom flavors brewed with love for liberty. So why compromise your principles for a cup of coffee? Stand up for your values, perk up your patriotism, and start your day the American way. Get your founding flavors at apforlibertyshop.com.